3 disturbing Reddit stories that sound fake, but aren't. If you spend enough time scrolling through Reddit, you start to notice something. Among the memes, the arguments, and the strange confessions, there are stories. Stories that feel too disturbing to be real. Stories that sound completely fake until the small details start lining up: the timestamps, the photos, the police reports, and the fact that the people who posted them never came back to update anyone. Tonight, I'm going to share 3 disturbing Reddit stories that sound fake, but aren't. And by the end of the last one, you might start checking your logs. Story 1. The man in the screenshot. A user on Reddit once posted a thread asking for help. The title was simple: "Did anyone else see this man in my screenshot?" The user explained that he had just moved into a small apartment building. Nothing unusual about the place. Old building, thin walls, loud pipes. But after a few weeks, something strange started happening. Late at night, he would hear someone slowly walking down the hallway outside his door. Not unusual for an apartment, except the footsteps would stop directly outside his door and just stand there. No knocking, no movement, just silence. Sometimes it would last for minutes. Other nights, nearly half an hour. At first he thought it was just a neighbor, but one night curiosity got the best of him. So he decided to check. He quietly walked up to the door and looked through the peephole. Nothing. The hallway was empty. No one there. The next night, it happened again. Slow footsteps, stopping right outside his door. This time, he grabbed his phone. He decided to take a picture through the peephole just in case someone ran away. But when he looked at the photo, he froze. Standing directly in front of his door was a tall man. But the strange part was his face. It was stretched wide into a smile that looked almost unnatural, like someone forcing their mouth open as far as possible. The Reddit user said he opened the door immediately after taking the photo, but the hallway was empty again. No footsteps, no running, no elevator sound, just silence. People in the comments assumed it was fake, Photoshop, a prank, until the original poster updated the thread 2 days later. He said he had shown the photo to the building manager. The manager went pale because the man in the picture looked exactly like a tenant who had died in the building 3 years earlier. Story 2. The security camera that shouldn't exist. Another Reddit story came from a man who installed security cameras around his house. He lived alone in a rural area. No nearby neighbors. Just woods and a long gravel driveway. One night, his phone alerted him that the motion camera near the back door had detected movement. He opened the app, but instead of someone outside the door, the camera was showing movement inside his kitchen. He assumed the camera had glitched because the back door was locked, and he had been home all evening. But when he rewound the footage, something terrifying appeared. At exactly 2:17 a.m., the kitchen camera suddenly turned on, and standing in the middle of the kitchen was a woman. She was pale, completely still, just staring at the camera. The Reddit user swore he had never seen her before. He immediately went downstairs to check. The kitchen was empty, every door locked, every window closed. He checked the footage again. The woman didn't walk in. She didn't open a door. She simply appeared and stood there for almost 2 minutes. Then at 2:19 a.m., she slowly turned her head toward the hallway, as if she heard someone coming, and walked out of frame. The Reddit user posted the footage asking if anyone could explain it. Some people said sleepwalking, others said video editing, but one comment changed everything. Someone recognized the woman. They linked a missing persons article from years earlier, a woman who had disappeared in that exact county. Her last known location was the road directly behind his house. After that comment, the original post was deleted. Story 3. The roommate who wasn't there. The final Reddit story is one of the most disturbing because it didn't involve ghosts or strange photos, just something deeply wrong. A college student posted about his new roommate. At first, everything seemed normal. Quiet guy, kept to himself, mostly stayed in his room. But there were strange habits. For one thing, the roommate only came out at night. The Reddit user said he would hear the door slowly creak open around 3 a.m., then quiet footsteps moving through the apartment. Sometimes the sound of cabinets opening, or the refrigerator. But every time he checked, no one was there. The roommate would always be back in his room, door closed. Eventually he confronted him about it. The roommate insisted he never left the room at night, which made no sense, because the Reddit user was hearing the footsteps almost every night. So, one evening, he decided to test something. Before going to sleep, he placed a chair against his roommate's bedroom door. If the door opened, the chair would fall. That night, at around 3 a.m., he heard the footsteps again, moving slowly through the apartment, opening drawers, walking down the hallway. But when he looked at the bedroom door, the chair was still there, blocking it, which meant whoever was walking around the apartment hadn't come from that room. The Reddit user grabbed a flashlight and checked the entire apartment. Nothing, no one hiding, no open windows, nothing. The next morning, he asked the landlord if anyone else had a key. The landlord looked confused and said something that made his stomach drop. There was never supposed to be a roommate. The landlord had only rented the apartment to one person, him. When he went back upstairs, the roommate's bedroom was empty. No clothes, no bed, no furniture, just a completely empty room, as if no one had ever lived there. The Reddit user moved out 2 days later. The strange thing about stories like these on Reddit is that most of them disappear. Accounts get deleted, posts get removed, and sometimes the person who shared the story simply never comes back, which leaves only one question: how many of these stories online sound fake but actually happened, and how many people reading them are experiencing something similar right now?